Wow. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to my channel at Iggy_Calcio. Two matches that I want to discuss. The upset in the Champions League, Juventus crashing out to Villarreal, and of course, the second most important match in the Premier League being played yesterday. Arsenal versus Liverpool. My. What two matches it was. Completely, the big match in the Premier League was, fantastic game. Fantastic game. Two real, it has to be said, man. Two quality teams who play really good football. It has to be said, really good football. In between, listen, let me start with the Juventus game. I'll get on to the Arsenal Liverpool game shortly. Let me start with the Juventus game. Juventus having drawn 1-1, no away goals, obviously included in anywhere in any cup competitions. But so it's 1-1 from the first leg. Juventus are in course to qualifying for the next round at home. A really up for it crowd. It was a really strong crowd yesterday. And they started, the first 20 minutes, they came out of the blocks and and you think to yourself, if anyone's going to score, it's going to be Juve right now. And they had a chance with Morata after 10 minutes where from a corner, he's got the goal at his helmet. He's just got to pick a spot and score. But the keeper makes a really good save from that. But it has to be said, in that moment, it's a really chance that Morata should be putting away. And Juve kept going, they kept going and you think to yourself, right, there's only a matter of time to Juve's score. And Vlahovic takes his shot on the 89th minute, 19th minute mark, makes his shot with his left foot, opens his body up, and the keeper makes another good save. And you think to yourself, right, that's two chances now for 20 minutes. Villarreal trying to get himself into the game, and you just think to yourself, up until then, Villarreal, in my opinion, were second best. And only another minute later, when De Chillo on the left-hand side gets past his marker, whips the ball in the box, Vlahovic strikes it with his left foot. What a left foot it was, and he's just so unlucky to be hitting the bar. And that chance is another chance. So into the first 20 minutes, Juve have three chances to break the deadlock, which they don't do. And from this point of view, you start to think, is this maybe not their night? Is this going to somehow turn in Villarreal as well? And Villarreal almost scored themselves just a minute later on the 21st minute with the Lo Celso. Edge of the box, opens up his body, uses the player as a screen and whips and strikes the ball on the bend. Just misses the post. With his shot going wide. That could have been a real trouble, and it could have been actually a dent in Juve's confidence if Villarreal taken the moment, that moment to score. And just before 5-10 minutes before the half ended, there was another ball whipped into the corner, and Vlahovic's header is smothered away. So, really 3-4 good chances for Juve in that first half to Villarreal's 1. And you just think to yourself, they're going to the break at 0-0. Now the nerves start to kick in. As it's coming second half, that one goal either way could swing the tide massively to whichever side that scores it. The second half, it came out again. You just think to yourself, the longer the game is going, the more intense it's starting to become. And it seemed that way. And you just think to yourself, now the game started to become on a balance. Still 0-0. And listen, undoubtedly, that the penalty incident on the 75th minute for Villarreal, where Coquelin knocks the ball past Rugani. Rugani sticks his leg out and bundles him down. I don't know why the referee has to be called to go to the VAR to check to see if it's a penalty. It's a stonewall penalty. How the referee don't see that is beyond me. I don't get why the referee needs to be called by the VAR to give a penalty that's blatant. And don't get me started, because I just spoke about on a Tottenham away video this morning in regards to the Harry Kane incident with one of their players. It should have been a stonewall penalty, But there, the VAR does not call the referee to go and have a look at it. It's two measures. In Europe, they seem to do one way. Here in the Premiership, it seems to be other. It's such a confusing and conflicted way of refereeing and VAR room. It just doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, moving on. So it's just the penalty gets confirmed, obviously, by the referee. Like I said, and Villarreal have the chance to take the lead with Gerrard. Gerrard strikes the ball to the keeper's left. I thought Szczesny should have done a lot better in that, in his hand. He could have saved that from me. He should have done better for sure. Anyway, it trickles into the bottom corner. Now Villarreal, on the 75th minute, are 1-0 up. Now it's Juve need to go and score. So, and they try to push on to get that equaliser, but it doesn't quite happen to them. And then from a Villarreal corner, the cross comes in. And this is what I mean, set pieces. I was banging on about this here. Set pieces are 15-20% of goals during the season for any team. If you're not somebody that's dangerous through set pieces and corners, you have a massive, massive problem, because you're literally picking up about 15-20% and chucking it in a bin. That has to be reviewed, especially looking a bit closer to home. Anyway, the ball's whipped in, and Pau unmarked. Completely unmarked. You have Vlahovic and you have De Ligt in between each other, and Pau just slips in and scores the second goal. And for me, on the 84th minute, that's all over. Juventus tried deeply to try and get that goal back, but I think it's a little too late. And then on the other end, in a one-on-one situation, Danilo is in control of the ball. It gets intercepted by their forward, who goes on to attack the Juventus on Szczesny, squares the ball back to the incoming player. I think it was Gerrard who took a shot. De Ligt reaches out, he throws himself at it, but unfortunately for him, it hits his arm. Another penalty is given, and it's scored by Villarreal to send Juventus crashing at home 3-0. And that game was anything but 3-0. You didn't, up until the 75th minute, there's no way you think to yourself in that moment that game will go on to be 3-0 to Villarreal. But it was, and it is, and that was, I mean, the fans were absolutely going crazy. The home crowd, that is, booing and whistling, and they're not happy at all. And it was a shitstorm in a press conference from Allegri. Journalists were, going at him. The Italian journalists were going at him, and he was firing back. And it was, it got really fiery, let's just say. I mean, you could go online and have a look at it if you get a chance to do so. Anyway, which brings me on to the other game, Arsenal-Liverpool, how we started off. Listen, Arsenal-Liverpool, fantastic game of football. As I mentioned earlier, two real quality teams that play really good football. It has to be said, and it pains me to say this in regards to Arsenal, but I'm honest in my evaluation. I'd say they played some really good football. And the first half, I mean, Arsenal had played really good intensity, knocked the ball about. And, they look like they were going to give Liverpool a really, really hard time. Liverpool, look, well, we've got a game on tonight. Honestly, I would have looked at that as a Liverpool player, or maybe boy, we've got a game on tonight here. So it was really good football. Liverpool were kind of just biding their time, just waiting to see, had to deal with that intensity and Arsenal's possession in football. But that's but the only thing I feel that Arsenal come short for me is it's in the box. The difference in the end has to be from one side to the other was inside the box. Who actually takes their chances? Who looks more threatening? Arsenal inside the area and Liverpool inside the area are two different teams. Well, that for me is what split them apart. There was a chance early on with Trent's ball being knocked over the top, and Mane stretches it. He's on goal, but he stretches himself and knocks the ball over the wide. Listen, for me in that half, in that moment for sure, Lacazette's opportunity where he's one-on-one with the keeper. Alisson does brilliantly in actually tracking with him. And then Lacazette spins around, knocks the ball over to Odegaard, who, listen, in that moment, he thought smashing that ball would be the best thing to do. And Alisson does brilliantly well. That is with the score at 0-0. That's a big moment. Big moment for Arsenal, who they didn't take. Alisson did brilliantly, meant Liverpool were still in the game. Jota gets that opportunity, his goal. He gets played into the left wing. I thought the defence done quite well to keep him out wide. So he puts him on his left foot. You think to yourself, from that angle, what can he do? At the best, get a corner or maybe try and put the ball in, whip it inside the box. But then he takes the shot on. And for me, I'm sorry, but Ramsey showed too much of inside his post. You are in that position as a defender. I'm relying on my keeper I'm relying on him to deal with that sort of thing. That ball trickles inside the near post. He gets beat on his side. And unfortunately, for Arsenal, that is, they go 1-0 down. And from then on, now it's in Liverpool's favour. I felt in the second half, Liverpool decided to really start pressing, particularly in the midfield area. They started pressing a lot better, much better than they did in the first half. They didn't want to give Arsenal any more time in the areas which were hurting them in the first half. They recognised that and they sorted that out and started pressing them a lot better. They were closing them down, and so I felt though that Arsenal didn't really react after their first goal conceded. I don't know if it was belief. I don't know, but I got the impression looking at the game that Arsenal didn't react well to that first goal. Or I don't know, maybe they lacked a little bit of belief to try to see how they can get. Or maybe they were pissed off at the fact that they missed that chance and it went the other way and they scored. Listen, and then it goes on to the game. Pretty much keeps going on like that, and then Firmino. Listen, that is a goal, man. That is a goal. The movement to get into the area that he did. You think Gabriel's got him. Gabriel's he's had a look at him and he's seen, I've got him. And then all of a sudden, just a split second, he gets in front of him, gets a little touch, and it's 2-0. It was a matter of just seconds. That for me, and I go on to say it again, that for me was the difference between Arsenal and Liverpool in that game. Because inside the area, I don't think Lacazette's... It doesn't look a threat to me, guys. That for me is the one area, 100% from Arsenal's perspective, is to heavily invest in a real centre forward. Vlahovic, who going back to the Juventus game, man, he is some player. This season, he's taken it to the next level. And I always thought, let me see him in last season. I was saying, I want to see him another season. Now he's gone to Juve. He seems to have upped the ante even more. He looks like he belongs in the high stage. I think that sort of player is if Arsenal have brought in Vlahovic, I'm telling you, it would have been a completely different story. Arsenal will be pushing on for much higher than what they are now. So I think that's the one area that I think they need to improve on in the level of striker that they need to bring in. And I think that ultimately was what the difference is. It was definitely between the two sides. Firmino, on the other hand, do you know what? People go bang on about Mane and Salah. Rightly so. Rightly so. I'm not gonna. It's rightly so. They're quality class players. But Firmino, man, trust me, he's the best of the three. And I mean for the team and how they function and what he provides and his movement, his involvement in the play. In a general play with the interlink between the midfield and the attack, but also his movement in that area is a proper forward. He should be scoring a lot more than he does, but he does a lot for the team, so he has to compensate that. And the goals that perhaps that he could be adding to his game is actually being added in Salah's and Sane's game. Listen, regarding to Arsenal, I don't think this game will knock too much of their confidence. It remains to be seen how they bounce back after this defeat, after, given a run of results that they've been having. This is the defeat, and it just remains to be seen how they respond to that. But I think overall in their play, they can be, yep, we lost the game. We see what the difference was. We see what, but listen, it doesn't change for me what they're trying to do. And I don't see, having that too much of an effect in games to come. Although there's tough games, and hopefully for us, we can capitalise on these slip ups. But we need to. That's a different story. We need to really focus on us there. But look, Arsenal are on course. It's only theirs to lose. They have the momentum. They have the team. They're on the right course, guys. I have to say they are on the right course. It's taken them 3 years to get to this point, but they're definitely on the right course. They would have seen up against the best. And Liverpool are up there as the best in the Premier League. They would have tested themselves and said, you know what? in the pitch itself, quality-wise, they're there. It's just rectifying the difference in the strikers. One in the areas, I don't think Arsenal have too much presence. On the other end, Liverpool can score any given moment. Liverpool, since mid-Jan, it was a stat that I saw yesterday, mid-January, they were 14 points behind. 14 points behind Manchester City. And in mid-March, they're down to 1. That is some serious catching up now. They've made up 13 points in that time over Manchester City that are no mugs. My word, the league is hotting up. Who's going to take it? Who can call it? Who can call anything this season? I keep saying it. Who can call anything? Who's going to win the league? Who's going to get a top 4? Who's going to make the European places? Full stop. It's becoming very, very interesting, guys. But I'm super looking forward to it. Anyway, that was my take on Arsenal, Liverpool, and Juventus versus Villarreal. Let me know your thoughts, your comments. I want to read them all, and however many comments there are, I will respond. I will do my best to respond. But yeah, let me know your take, like, comments, and of course subscribe. It's a relatively new channel, my own channel at Iggy Culture. I want to know from you guys. Share it with your friends. Share your thoughts with me, and share the video with your friends. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, and forever always, Forza, and big up the culture, big up the football always. Take care, guys.